What is going on, everybody, and welcome along to a brand new video. Now, this is going to be a start of a little series where I try to give tips and tricks for Football Manager 2019. Now, today, I want to show you guys some of the things that I do for training. Now, I've had a few questions when I've been streaming about how do I set up my training, do I understand it, do I just leave it to my assistant manager? And I just wanted to go over some of it today to sort of explain what I do and how I get the results that I sort of get in my saves. Now, I'm not going to sit here and claim that what I do is the best thing to do on the game. There probably are specific ways better than mine. I'm just going to go through what I do, and I think which gives off a pretty good result. So I'm going to use my Celtic team to demonstrate this. I currently am Celtic in my Twitch save. If you want to see that, the link is in the description down below. I stream Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday from 7 PM English time. So let's get into the training aspect of this then. So obviously we're greeted with the overview screen here where we can do a few things. We've got a medical centre, training performance, training happiness. Now, first and foremost, I just want to say training happiness, I wouldn't focus on it too much, to be honest, because you'll get a lot of unhappy people from time to time that complain about quickness training. They're either doing too much, they're either doing too little. For me, a load of bollocks, just ignore it. You're the boss of the team, they're doing what you say. Right, let's go into it. So I think the grandest thing you can do is this thing here, the calendar. That is what you want to be looking at every single time. Now, there are quite a few people that don't want to do the training. They just leave it to their assistant manager. That's fair enough. If that's how you want to play the game, I've got no problem with that. For me, I want to be in control of my team, my game at all times. It's going to be run my way. That's just how I want it to be done. So I set up training for myself every single time. Now, in this particular instance with Celtic, I've had a bit of time off from my last game. As you can see here, it was actually quite a while ago, the match. I don't know who that was against, but we played, we won, whatever. And then we've had quite a lot of time to sort of come up to this next fixture. Seems to be in Scotland that you get like 2 weeks off in January. It's pretty good. Nice little winter break. So we've had a lot of time to prepare for this next game. Now, what I'm going to show you is this little week here and then this week here as well. So we'll start off on Monday the 10th of January. Now, we're in a week leading up to a game which is on a Sunday. We're playing Hearts away from home. So obviously it's supposed to be quite a difficult game as far as difficult games go in Scotland when you're Celtic. Now, as we can see, we've got Session 1, Session 2, and extra session. Now, the way I sort of interpret that is morning, afternoon, evening. And if you think into like real life football, real world football, are you going to be working from, let's say, 9 till 9 every single day? No, it doesn't make physical sense. So what I tend to do in these saves is I use Session 1 and Session 2, and when I really want to, I'll have an extra session, but that is never really anything too strenuous on the players. So for me, on Session 1, I usually stick it to a team session. So as you can see on the Monday here, nothing serious. We're just going for an overall session of football. Everyone's going to train on everything. The goalkeepers, the outfield players, they're all going to train in one specific section, and that is everything. There's nothing unique about this. We're all just learning to kick a ball, and that is pretty much the gist of things. And then for Monday number 2, we've obviously got the outfield session. I'll get to that in a minute. But basically for me, Session 1 is all about the team training. That's all about giving everyone a base level of training to improve their overall ability. Same with the Tuesday, I've gone for overall again. And then Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, I've gone for defending, possession and tactical. You can obviously see what they do here. Everyone outfield gets gets a bit of a boost there, and the goalkeepers, they get a 20% increase in training. Same with possession, it's 60%, 20%, 20%. So everyone outfield is getting a great effort in training, and the goalkeepers are obviously just tagging along at this point. Same with the tactical, everyone gets a bit of tactical training, and for me that's the base way of getting everyone to increase their overall ability. Now if we move on to session number 2, this is typically where I go for something a bit more detailed, as you can see there. Now obviously we are playing Hearts at the end of this week on the Sunday. Usually would be a Saturday, but Sunday this week, I don't know why. So we've got a bit more time to train for this one. So I thought on Monday, I'm just going to make it nice and easy. We're just going to have 2 pretty base sessions where everyone can train. Everyone can do a bit of training. It's not too serious. Get out there, kick some balls on that. Now here on session number 2 on the Tuesday, It's currently down as teamwork. I mean, you could go for something like that. It's not too strenuous, and obviously you're going to get a little bit of teamwork involved with the rest of the team. You could go for something like that, and that's what I've done because I've got an overall session here as well. But if we move it on to Wednesday, you can see we're doing defending work on Wednesday. So what I've gone for the individual session is into the defending tab here, and I've got a few little things that we could go for. So obviously aerial defense, ground defense, defending wide, disengaged, or engaged. And now because we're playing away from home, I've gone for the defending disengaged in the anticipation we're not going to have the ball as much as we normally would if we were playing at home, where we'd be having like 60% possession. I'm looking to probably have about 50% possession in this game coming up against Hearts away from home, maybe even 45. So disengaged defending, which basically means tactical shape and sort of like waiting for the ball to sort of come to you, rather just stick it into like a big tactical group where everyone knows what they're doing, and it's just sort of, yeah, it's sort of like you press in a little bit, but you focus more on the defence. And you can see here the primary focus is obviously the defensive unit. 60% of that is going to them, and then obviously 20% to the goalkeepers and the attacking to do a few things. So basically it's attack versus defence, but this session is focused on defence. And now obviously couple that in with the defending team training we've got, where everyone outfield does the team training and the goalkeepers just still do they're just in goal. No one cares about the goalkeepers. But as you can see, only 2 sessions in that day. The first 4 days of this week, there's only 2 sessions. That's all we've got. I don't want to make my players overly tired for absolutely no reason. Now, Friday is a little bit of a difference. We've gone for tactical team training. Obviously, everyone learns the tactical side of the game, goalkeepers included. They've been included in this one. And then session 2, we've obviously got the in-depth style of this, and we've gone for the tactical approach of defensive shadow play. Again, to theme in with we are playing an away game, I wanted to get my defence as solid as can be for this week. So defensive shadow play, the defensive unit once again is going to be the focus for this session. And now, because I don't want my players to get injured at any point, I've decided to add a recovery spa session. They're all going to spa, get some massages and that, get a little rub down and stuff. So they're all like fit, hopefully no injuries in this week, and ready to go for the training session tomorrow and then the game on Sunday. So the day after, the day before a game, you usually get 1 slot here and then 1 slot here. You do sometimes at home get a rest day there, a rest session, or you can put something in there as well. It's entirely up to you. But for me, I like this little format here where I have 1 session here I can choose from and my match preview. I usually do not change my match preview whatsoever, because this here is the analysis session for the team you're about to play against. So in our case, it's Hearts. Now, this 1 session here, I don't want to do anything too strenuous before a game, especially the day before a game. So I wouldn't stick it on, let's say, physical training. That just wouldn't make sense. Fatigue's increased, conditions reduced, you increase the injury risk and stuff, and it just would not make sense for me. So you could do something like match prep. So obviously you could do some match tactics. It's just sort of basically probably in a classroom for that one, just drawing on a chalkboard. Teamwork, any one of these except for match practice. Again, you're just tiring your players out. No point in doing that one. And obviously some of these ones as well, attacking wings, it's not overly strenuous, but again, do your players need to be doing that? I doubt it. And now when I've played football or any sort of sport in real life, usually like obviously the day of a game or at the end of a session, you will do something set piece orientated. Now transferring that over to this is the end of the weekly session basically before a game, and we're going to do some set pieces. So we've got a very good set piece taker in the team and a very good corner routine sorted. So we could do something like attacking corners, get the boys all focused up, like heading, anticipation and off the ball is focused on in that session, as well as upcoming match, the attacking corners. That means we'll have a higher probability of scoring corners in this next game. Now for me, the most crucial thing is making sure the set piece delivery is at its best. And we go for the free kicks, corners, long throws, technique and stuff. And the set piece delivery is going to be pinpoint accurate for the game against Hearts. And hopefully we can score some corners. Obviously you can see as well, outfield. Basically the session is, let's wang some corners in. Let's see if we can score some goals in the session. So it's attack versus defence. And obviously the set piece takers take the set pieces. And the goalkeepers, they're just there for the ride along. So that's what we do before a game. And that is pretty much how I would set up for a solid week of football. If there's no other games like on the Wednesday or Tuesday, that is what I'd usually do. So session 1 is team training. That is getting everyone kicking a ball, everyone doing something. Session 2, most of the time, is individual sessions. So obviously a defensive session here. We've got a transition session and a tactical session as well. I usually couple it in with what we're actually doing in the team sessions. But sometimes, like on a Monday, I would do like physical training or just some outfield training there. And now, one thing here, you've got the intensity graph. So obviously we've set up our sessions this week. And as you can see here, we've got a big red splodge there. But most of these are green. Now, if we go over to this, it will tell you what the effect of the training session is going to have for that day. So obviously Monday, the first day, we're going to have overall and outfield training. The intensity, as you can see, is not very high at all. It doesn't even reach halfway on some of these. So you can see that the injury risk is obviously going to increase as you do some training. The condition is going to reduce. For goalkeepers, it's going to stay the same because they're not really doing a lot. Fatigue's going to reduce, obviously. Same with the sharpness. And happiness is going to increase because, well, I don't know, they might like each other or something. But basically, if I added something in, again, like resistance training, you'd see it goes straight up and the injury risk is greatly increased once again. Same with this one. If I added quickness in, it goes way over the charts. That's too much physical training. We're now at 104% intensity, so probably not the best idea to do something like that. For me though, you could do something like community outreach or team bonding as an extra session that sort of helps you at teamwork and your happiness and team cohesion and stuff. That is something you could do for the extra sessions if you wanted to, but in my case this week we're already doing pretty well. It's not really needed, so I'm going to leave that there. Now, in cases where there are multiple games in a calendar, so this week here, the next week, 17th of January starting, obviously this is the day after the game with Hearts, so we just have a recovery session there and a rest. And as you can see, the injury risk greatly reduced after that, and everything's happy days. A little spa session, and then go home and see your missus or whatever. So then we've only got one day to prepare for the next game, and obviously that's against Inverness Caledonian Thistle. And typically, you don't want to just overwork your players again. It's pretty straightforward in terms of, well, don't do any attacking training, don't do any general outfield training, don't do any of this because it'll just wear your team out. So again, I just stick it on the set pieces, make sure everyone's just fresh and just keeping up with tricks, and then they'll all have over 90% condition going into this game because they've had their rest, they've had their recovery, they haven't done too much training, and they're still getting something out of the training, and then they're going to the next game. And then the same with Rangers on the Saturday, one recovery session and then delivery from the set pieces. And then we go and play Rangers, and then we'll have another recovery to go and play Livingston the week after, and then we can set up for this one here. So what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to have the recovery there, and then back to the team training here. Let's say, for instance, we want to do some defending training there because we're playing against St Mirren away from home. Not going to be the best team in the world, so we might do some attacking stuff as well. And then this one here, I always have it on set pieces. So as you can see, that's set up. We've now got 2 blocks of training we can start on. So we've got defending, attacking, and then the second session, I'm going to go for something defending. I'm going to go for some aerial defense. I want some heading, marking, technique, concentration, and positioning to be sorted. And then for the attacking, because we sort of play a counter-attacking style of football, we're going to go for some direct attacking football. So obviously get the ball forward as quick as you can. And again, nothing too serious. This is not going to overwork my players. They're still going to get the rests in there. I could do some more recovery if I wanted to, but I don't think it's honestly needed. And for me, it's just about not overworking the team. And as you can see, we're now set up, and we should honestly have not a lot of injuries unless we get some freak injuries in training or the games, and it should be making my players really fit for the games going ahead. Now obviously you can see in some of these we've got units, so obviously here attacking, defensive, and the goalkeeping unit. You can actually change who plays in what unit. So we're on the unit screen right now, and obviously we've only got 2 goalkeepers in the side, so no point really changing that. And then obviously we've got the defensive unit and the attacking unit. Now you can put these in whatever one you want. So if I change these by position, I've got Kevin Ritchie here as a right back. If I want him to be in the attacking unit, I just drag him across. There we go. He's in the attacking unit. Now he's going to play with those in training in the attacking unit and learn to play, get his dribbling a bit better. Just get something better about him attacking. So he'll do a little bit with his marking and tackling because obviously we've got him individually set up as a wing back. But when it comes to training, he's going to be with the attacking unit, doing some of their stuff. But I don't want him to do that. He's coming back over here for me. And obviously you can switch this up however you want. So if you want some of your strikers to go and play in the defensive unit, you can do that if you want to. I usually did it with some of the wing backs, but I've changed that back over now. So I did have Kieran Tierney as a wing back there. He was over there, same as some of the other wing backs as well. So that's a potential option for you if you want to do that. It's nothing too serious though, so it's not going to matter a whole much, but you never know. And then obviously if we go over to individual training as well, this is where you can sort of personalize what you want your players to do. So we've got a young player here, Andrew Anderson from the academy. He's looking pretty promising as a striker going forward in his career. So pretty straightforward on this one. You can set up what you want him to sort of be in the future. Now, taking a look at him here, I can see his first touch isn't great, so we're just going to sort of work him on the advanced forward, make him a really good striker because he's quick, and obviously we want him to improve as a striker, score some goals for us. And then obviously from that one there, you can increase their additional focus. So we've gone for passing because technique, passing and first touch is going to improve, and you can see the attributes being highlighted here. That's what he should turn out into in the future. So he should be quite a good little poacher going through on goal. We'll have to wait and see how he improves. Now, we saw over here that people are unhappy with their training overall. If we go to the individual list, you can see the training performance here. We've got Andrew Anderson on a 10, Carl Gordon, loads of these players are on a 10 training rating. If we keep going down, you can see all these players, look at all of them. I'll go slower for you. A lot of them are improving their attributes. So here, quite a sharp improvement from Kevin Ritchie. First touch going up quite a lot, same as the decisions. He's looking a very good player for me. But most of these players are going to be improving their attributes going forward in their career because they're not working too hard. They're working at a good rate. They're not getting injured, and they've got time to actually progress. So obviously, Manuel Solomon here got loads of time to do stuff, and he's still impressing even at 22 years of age. And we've even got Christopher Aya, 23 years of age, still going up quite a decent rate as well. So we keep going down. You can see these players are still improving. Kevin Rueg here, obviously going up, having a really good month in training. But the point I'm trying to make is training rating is most of these are in the 9s. And if we drag it down here, you can see there's only one player under a 7 rating, and that is Aidan Flint, 32 years old. And that's probably because he's not really playing and he's on the transfer list. So he's probably just given up on himself and he doesn't want to do it anymore. Scott Brown, obviously, he's now an assistant manager, so he's not going to really be doing a whole lot there. And there's some players here, obviously he's not happy with how much training he's doing. You could try and sort that out, but for me, I'll tell him to fuck off and he could just do this. And sometimes that'll improve. And obviously, you can also talk to them as well. So if we drag it back up to the top here, I can say to Andrew Anderson, I can give him a bit of praise and say, well done. And then his morale's gone up. So just little things like that you can sort of do on your training. Again, if you want to just leave it to your assistant manager, you can do, but I don't think you get the same sort of thing out of it coming into like game days such as this. So obviously we're now set up for the next 5 or 6 games or whatever. And injuries and stuff are going to be sort of minimal in this. And you can tell this from the medical centre. These are the injuries I've currently got. And that is it. I've got 3 injuries. I've got Kieran Tierney, Callum McGregor and Rene back. That is all I've got. And these players here, the injury, the risk so far, we've got an increased risk. And that's just because they've come back from injury. So nothing too strenuous there. You've seen here we've got a 13% decrease in injuries on the last season. So everything's looked pretty good for us. And that's mainly because we've kept our training sort of a bit low. We have not overworked our players and they're still improving. So I think it's trying to find a balance basically on keeping your sessions in a sense, not working your players too much. Now, at the start of a season, in pre-season, you may want to put some physical stuff in there at the start, which is fair enough. But when the season's actually in full flow and going and stuff, you can see when you bring it over to your players here, they're all going to be on 100% sharpness. If they're playing week in, week out, they're all going to be on 100%. Some of these players here coming back from injury, Rueg, Forrest, they're not going to be on 100%, obviously. But you can see it's looking pretty good in terms of your starting 11. And they're all fit, they're all raring to go. And it just leads to a happy life. And obviously you can impress then going forward in the games and stuff. Now I think that's where I'm actually going to leave it for this tips and tricks video talking about training. Hopefully you've enjoyed this and you may have learned something from it. I will go over mentoring and some of the other things in training as well in possibly a new video. I'm going to try and do some tactics and how to create a tactic, some staff and stuff. I'll go over a few more of these, but if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to hit like on the video. Also, I stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you want to go and see that, click in the link down below, follow the Twitch one, and I hopefully will see you in one of the streams. If you've enjoyed this, like I say, don't forget to hit the like button. Also, leave a comment giving your views on the training, and subscribe for more tactic videos, football manager videos, anything else. And I'll see you next time. Take care.